In 2001, Blu Cantrell made a huge impact on the music scene with her hit song Hit 'Em Up Style Oops, which became one of the biggest hits of the year. She had all the qualities needed for success: stunning looks, an amazing voice, and a strong team of talented writers and producers behind her. But unfortunately, her career didn't unfold the way she had hoped. Along the way, she found herself trapped in a bad record deal that limited her success. On top of that, some provocative photos from her past resurfaced, causing a scandal. There were also rumors about her dealing with mental health struggles, which added more drama to her story. And of course, people have been curious about her relationship with Jay-Z. Stick around, because we're about to dive into that too. Blu Cantrell, born Tiffany Cobb in Rhode Island, got the nickname Blue when she was a child because of her love for the color. She was raised by her mother, a jazz singer who took care of Blu and her 5 siblings on her own. In a candid interview with Wendy Williams, Blu opened up about her father, describing him as a deadbeat NBA player who left the family when she was young. At just 17, Blu Cantrell moved to New York to chase her dream of becoming a singer. However, she quickly discovered that breaking into the music industry wasn't as easy as she had hoped. To support herself, she took on various jobs. At 18, in an attempt to make some quick money, she posed for risque photos for Blacktail magazine, an adult publication. Blu Cantrell decided to use her childhood nickname and her grandmother's last name to create her stage name, and entered the music scene as Blu Cantrell. She joined a girl group called 8th Avenue, which was formed by famous producer Teddy Riley. Unfortunately, after the group Blackstreet, which Riley was part of, broke up, 8th Avenue also disbanded. Despite the setback, Blu's journey in music was far from over, and she was determined to make a name for herself. In 2000, Blu received heartbreaking news that her sister had been involved in a serious car accident and was in a coma at a hospital in Atlanta. She rushed to Atlanta to be by her sister's side as her family struggled with the possibility of losing her. During this difficult time, Blu's life took an unexpected turn. In an interview with Pollster, she shared how a chance encounter with a man in a hotel lobby, along with a random meeting with the famous singer Usher, led to her connecting with Christopher "Tricky" Stewart. At the time, Stewart was not yet the superstar producer known for his work with Beyoncé, Rihanna, and Katy Perry. He was riding high on the success of producing Mia's hit song, Case of the Ex. Blu played her demo for Tricky Stewart, and he was so impressed that he asked her to sing background vocals for well-known artists like Gerald Levert, Faith Evans, Puff Daddy, and Aaron Hall. He even invited Blu to stay with him and his girlfriend at their home in Atlanta, instead of going back to New York. Despite this exciting opportunity, Blu felt unsure. She was still dealing with the stress of her sister's long recovery after waking up from the coma. Although her sister was out of danger, there was a tough road ahead for her, which made it hard for Blu to fully commit to the move. Blu shared in an interview with the You Know I Got Soul website that she felt a strong connection to Tricky's family. Having been on her own for a while, she longed for the sense of stability that they offered. Tricky, seeing Blu's potential, told her he would reach out to his associate, L.A. Reid, who was the president of Arista Records at the time. At first, Blu didn't take him seriously, but soon enough, L.A. was in the studio listening to her music and was immediately impressed by her voice. He offered Blu a record deal right then and there. Excited, Blu was ready to sign, but Tricky advised her to take a step back and think it through before making any decisions. After L.A. left, news quickly spread about the talented new singer with a unique jazz-inspired soprano voice. Blu shared with You Know I Got Soul that soon, 10 different record labels were fighting for her, with the bidding war lasting an intense 11 hours. L.A. Reid made sure no one else could sign her, ultimately winning the bidding war. To seal the deal, he even threw in a Ferrari, making the offer even more irresistible. Blu eagerly signed with Arista Records, excited for the opportunity, but unfortunately, she didn't realize she had unknowingly signed away all her future earnings. She wasted no time and began working on her debut album. One of her standout songs, Hit 'Em Up Style, was written and produced by Dallas Austin. She also traveled to Indianapolis to work with the legendary duo, Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. In their grand studio, Blu began singing a melody as a pianist played nearby. She put all her emotions into a song called I'll Find a Way, showcasing her deep connection to her music. In an interview, Blu revealed that her emotions were heavily influenced by her sister's health struggles and a difficult relationship she was going through at the time. Despite all the personal challenges, Hit 'Em Up Style was released in April 2001 and quickly became a major success. The song climbed to number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100, marking a huge milestone in her career. Blu was soon sent on a nationwide promotional tour to promote the track, and also received a Grammy nomination, further cementing her place in the music industry. Blu's debut album, So Blue, was released in July 2001 and quickly became a success, earning a gold certification. But Blu didn't just rely on her music to drive sales. She took a hands-on approach to promote her work. She personally visited several record stores and made it a point to convince the store owners to order more copies of her album. By building these personal connections with the people who worked at the stores, Blu was able to increase her album's visibility and sales. Her hard work and determination paid off, and eventually, So Blue was certified platinum, proving that her efforts to connect with fans and music industry professionals really made a difference. While attending an awards show, Blu met an NBA player, though she never revealed his name. She later shared with Wendy Williams that this player pursued her persistently, and they eventually started dating. At that time, Blu seemed to have it all. Her career was going well, and she had a fulfilling relationship. However, things began to take a negative turn when, in May 2002, some of her risque photos from Blacktail magazine were uncovered. These photos, which she had taken years earlier to make extra money, caused a public stir and became a major setback for her despite her earlier success. The timing was unfortunate, as it came at a moment when Blu's career seemed to be on the rise. Blu handled the situation with a surprising amount of confidence, even joking to the Atlanta Journal-Constitution that she'd be willing to sign one of the photos if people wanted her to. She also told The Guardian that while the photos were controversial, they were keeping her name in the media, which wasn't necessarily a bad thing for her career. In fact, she managed to turn the situation into a business opportunity, reportedly negotiating a $1 million payout for a photo shoot with Playboy magazine. She was even invited to perform at the Playboy Mansion, which added another layer to her growing fame. However, not everyone supported her decisions. Some media outlets, like Radio 1, a major British music station, weren't pleased with the photos and briefly decided to ban her music, which sparked further public debate about her career and the choices she made in the spotlight. Unfortunately, the scandal surrounding her photos also caused problems in Blu's personal life. The NBA player she had been dating couldn't handle the attention, and they decided to end their relationship. Despite the challenges, Blu continued to push forward with her career. In 2003, she released her second album, Bittersweet, which showed a more mature side of her music. The album performed well, reaching number 7 on the Billboard charts and gaining success internationally. It was clear that Blu still had a strong fan base, and her talent was undeniable. Bittersweet also earned her another Grammy nomination, proving that she could overcome personal setbacks and remain a force in the music industry. The rumors surrounding Blu and Jay-Z became a big topic of discussion, especially because Jay-Z was in a relationship with Beyoncé at the time. Despite what people believed, Blu firmly denied any romantic involvement with him. She explained in an interview with Wendy Williams that while they were close and shared a friendship, they had never been intimate. Blu did admit that she had a crush on Jay-Z and would have been open to exploring a relationship with him, but she made it clear that nothing ever happened between them. The rumors, however, continued to circulate, adding more attention to her already high-profile career. In an interview, Blu made it clear that she had a huge crush on Jay-Z, and she didn't shy away from admitting it. She told the interviewer, "I have a big crush on him, though. I'll tell you that much," showing just how much she liked him. Even though Jay-Z was in a relationship with Beyoncé at the time, Blu wasn't concerned about who he was dating. She expressed that her feelings for him were genuine, and she didn't care what anyone thought. Blu was open about her attraction, even playfully adding that she had always been a fan of him, despite his relationship status. When Blu was asked about running into Jay-Z and what would happen if they ever crossed paths, she didn't hold back. She was playful in her response, saying, "Yeah, okay. And when you ran into him and everything was right, right, and right, and right, would you make that flag?" This was her way of hinting that if the moment was right, she wouldn't turn down the chance to take things further. She continued, adding, "I wouldn't turn it down, let's just put it that way." As Blu's career continued, things started to get a bit strange. Fans began noticing some odd similarities between her music and Beyoncé's, particularly when it came to Beyoncé's hit song, "Baby Boy." Blu couldn't shake the feeling that Beyoncé was hinting at her in the lyrics. One example she pointed out was the line in Baby Boy, where Beyoncé sings, "Let me breathe." This caught Blu's attention because the title of her own song from her second album was Breathe. Blu spoke about this to The Guardian, saying she was convinced that these lyrics were a subtle reference to her. Interestingly, both Blu's song Breathe and Beyoncé's Baby Boy featured the same artist, Sean Paul, which only added to the growing speculation. Since Blu's song came out first, some fans started to believe that Beyoncé was copying Blu. In an interview with Contact Music, Blu admitted that she was a fan of Beyoncé's work, but she couldn't ignore the similarities. She pointed out that Beyoncé used words in the hook of her song that were very similar to the ones in Blu's own track. Blu seemed to feel that if Beyoncé were truly as talented as everyone said, she shouldn't have to borrow from another artist's work. Things got even more complicated when Blu released the promo for her song Round Up. And soon after, Beyoncé and Jay-Z dropped their music video for 03 Bonnie and Clyde. Fans couldn't help but notice how similar the two videos looked, raising questions about whether it was just a coincidence or something more. In an interview with The Guardian, Blu seemed to acknowledge the tension and jokingly suggested that she and Beyoncé should settle things by performing live on stage, each singing one of their songs in a beef-style battle. However, despite the playful remark, Blu made it clear that she didn't actually want to escalate things into a public feud. Years later, Beyoncé and Jay-Z named their first daughter Blue Ivy, which sparked a lot of curiosity and speculation among fans and the media. Many people couldn't help but wonder if there was a connection between the name and Blu Cantrell, especially considering the rumors and tensions that had surrounded the two artists earlier in their careers. Behind the scenes, Blu Cantrell found love with a new person, who would play a significant role in both her personal and professional life. While she was working with Puff Daddy early in her career, Blu met a talented producer named Tony De Niro. Their connection grew, and Tony was even featured as her love interest in the music video for her song Make Me Want to Scream. The chemistry between them was undeniable, and their relationship blossomed. According to The Independent, Blu was so deeply in love with Tony that she decided to bring him into her professional world as well, hiring him to be her tour manager. In February 2004, Blu Cantrell made the difficult decision to end her relationship with her boyfriend, Tony De Niro, after their constant arguments became physical. Tony denied the allegations, but Blu chose to cut ties with him both personally and professionally. However, despite their breakup, some of Tony's work still appeared on Blu's 2004 mixtape, From LA to LO, which included pre-recorded tracks he had contributed to earlier. Unfortunately, Blu's personal challenges weren't the only things weighing her down. Professionally, her career hit a roadblock. After L.A. Reid left Arista Records, Blu felt disconnected from the label and no longer wanted to continue working with them. To make matters worse, in the chaos that followed, her contract with the label was never renewed, leaving her in a vulnerable position. During this challenging period in her career, Blu Cantrell didn't give up on her passion for music and entertainment. She continued to tour and work on new music independently, staying connected to her fans and maintaining a presence in the industry. In 2007, Blu took on a new project, starring in a stage play titled Gossip, Lies, and Secrets, alongside well-known actresses Kenya Moore and Lisa Ray. The performance allowed Blu to explore her acting chops and expand her talents beyond music. The following year, in 2008, Blu appeared on the reality TV show Celebrity Circus, where celebrities competed in circus-themed challenges. However, her time on the show was short-lived, as she was eliminated early. Despite this setback, rumors swirled about a potential romance between Blu and fellow contestant Antonio Sabato Jr., sparking public interest. While the tabloids had a field day with the speculation, Blu's representative clarified that the two were simply having fun and were not involved in anything more serious. After taking a break from the spotlight, Blu Cantrell quietly disappeared from the public eye for a few years. In an interview with You Know I Got Soul, she explained that she made the decision to move to London in order to escape the constant pressure and attention of being a celebrity. The time away gave her the space to focus on herself, recharge, and find some peace outside the chaotic world of fame. By 2012, Blu felt ready to return to her music and begin working on her long-awaited next album, hoping to make a comeback in the industry. However, despite her determination, the album has yet to be released, leaving fans eagerly awaiting its debut. In 2014, Blu Cantrell faced a difficult and troubling situation that caught the attention of the media. TMZ reported that she was found running through the streets of Santa Monica in the early hours of the morning, appearing disoriented and in a state of panic. She claimed to be in fear for her life and said that someone had given her poisonous gas. When the police arrived, Blu allegedly identified herself as a one-hit wonder, acknowledging the challenges she had faced in her career. She was then taken to the hospital for a psychological evaluation, where she received medical care. Looking back on her career, Blu expressed deep regret about the record contract she signed early on in her journey. In an interview with You Know I Got Soul, she opened up about how difficult it can be for new artists in the industry, explaining that many are taken advantage of by those they trust. She went as far as to say that 98% of artists have been robbed in one way or another, emphasizing how common it is for artists to be mistreated. Blu also revealed that her record label had suggested a lawyer for her, but she later discovered that this lawyer was actually the label's lawyer too, creating a clear conflict of interest. She felt that the people around her, including the label and the lawyer, were working together to take advantage of her and essentially strip away what should have been hers. Blu has openly shared the challenges she faced with her record label, particularly with the way her earnings were handled. Although she did a lot of her own songwriting, she revealed that the label took all of her publishing rights, meaning the money from her work went into other people's pockets rather than her own. Despite the success of her music and the checks that were coming in, she didn't see any of that money, explaining, "I never got one dime from Arista." On top of the financial struggles, Blu also reflected on how her career was impacted by the photos she took for Teal magazine. She admitted that, as a woman in the entertainment industry, she faced harsher judgment than her male counterparts. In March 2020, just before the world went into lockdown due to the pandemic, Blu made a surprise performance in London. It was a rare public appearance for her, as she isn't very active on social media and doesn't often post new pictures. Her sudden return to the stage left many fans shocked and curious, especially since she hadn't been in the spotlight for a while. We truly hope the best for Blu, and look forward to the day when she can share new music with her loyal fans. She has certainly made an impact in the music industry, and fans have been eagerly waiting for her to return with fresh tracks. It's clear that she has a lot of talent, and we hope she finds the right opportunities to showcase it. Let us know what you think about Blu Cantrell's career and her journey so far. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Thank you for tuning in and watching the video.